Hello, boys and girls. Hey, hey, hey. It's Friday, which is pretty good. I'm posting just some advertising here and there. Nearly done. And then we can start to make some progress. Right? Can start to make some good progress. Everyone okay? What did you do this week? Tell me. So yeah, I finished the setup. Let me just connect to the chat. Here we are. Okay. Yes, Friday night. Friday night we can stream a bit. We can make some progress. We can, work on containers. If you remember, the last time we were working on crafting, and on crafting we were trying to have, let's say, the some of the crafting code ported. In particular, Work Manager, which is one of the biggest classes we have in the game. And actually Work Manager has been ported properly, and which is very good. And now what we have to do is to test crafting. But before testing crafting, we still need a few pieces. And in particular, I have outlined here the different missions that we have. So the ultimate goal is to be able to craft something, okay, with combinations and transformations. The problem is that to arrive there, to be able to craft something, we need, first of all, hello Riccardo, we need first of all to be able to view items inside containers, because crafting is heavily based on containers, meaning that you have like a table, a smith table, or you have a bowl, or you have an oven, or you have whatever, a number of containers that may contain items that you are going to craft. So we need to do this. So to be able to view containers, we need to be able also to move items between the inventory and the container. Hello, TA Lammer, whatever is your name, ZTA? ZTA. Hello, welcome. So, and then we need also to be able to move items in a keep slots. Why? Because some of the crafting code is relying on the fact that you are keeping tools in your hands while crafting, right? So, and also we need to be able to place the recipe, which in our game are expressed as books, right, in the mine slot. So, and then at the end we will be able to craft something. So these are the missions. I think that today we can already do maybe the first two. I don't know, let's see. Let's see how far we go. Before starting the stream, I did the first piece, a small piece, but I did the first piece of what we need to have this piece working. So what we need is, hello Soup, welcome. So what we need, and finally we are seeing a bit more blueprints, because it's sometime we see only code. It's a few weeks to see only code. So. But we'd also have to develop a new UI, because at the moment we don't have a UI for viewing a container. It is something that we have to do. So everything starts when the player right clicks on an object on the ground, right? And when he right clicks, we have what we call our interact UI, which is this one, which actually looks like this. So it's a set of icons, 3 by 3, where you can say pick up the item, also look at the item, right? This one is the UI. It then get configured based on the need. So the code in the interact UI, as you see here, is sensing the click and then is requesting the description of what is being clicked. If it's a character, it calls this function, which is called character detail request. If it's an item, it calls this other function, which is called request item details. These two functions are at the moment client side, right? And so what we are doing, we are calling a function server side. So if I click on this one, the one of the item, that is the one that we are interested in, we arrive here inside our plane shift player controller. And in the plane shift player controller, we are switching from client to server. Right? So if you see this method, it says execute on server custom event. Right? So this one is going server side. And then it's calling a C++ function, actually an event. Let me just check, because this one actually has exactly the same name. So it seems that it's calling itself actually. So it's probably not this one, the one we want to call. I think we need to probably change slightly the name, otherwise it will become confused, because I called it request at item details interaction. Which is exactly the same as this one. So we don't want this. We want to change this name, otherwise. So let's call it request item details interaction. I think maybe we can leave interaction here and remove interaction from this function. Character, because we did the same for the character details request interaction. Okay, we place basically request after. Okay, that's also why. Or I can just call it blueprint. Maybe it's easier. I will just call it blueprint, like BP, you know. Okay, so it's not exactly the same name. So when I call this now, there it is. Now you see that now the icon is different. Is a function and is not. The one before was this. Was an event, and it was actually calling itself. So it was not correct. So we do this. Here we have target. And we have slot ID and container ID. Okay, I'm not in the same order, I don't know why, but yeah, we want to call a function in the server side, right? And this function on the server side, sorry for that, my mobile is alive. So we want to call this server function, and the server function will take care if it's an item on the ground or if it's an item inside our inventory, because actually we have to say these two different use cases. Okay? Yeah, so this one calls the server, and if I go in my code, it calls exactly this function, which is request item details interaction. At the moment I'm just printing out something, and then what I want to do, I want to check if the container is on the ground or if the container is in my inventory. Basically the logic I applied is that when we are passing this parameter, and this parameter is not null, is on the ground. Otherwise we have to get the item by container ID and slot ID. Okay, good. So I think this piece this function should already be called, and this means that our view item is probably getting called. So what we can do, we can check what it's doing after this. So it's basically searching the item. Yeah, the thing I don't like is that, let me think about it. So here in this case, we already have the item, right? So I don't want to search it again. I really don't want to search it again. So I think I need probably two separate functions. I don't want to do this find item unless is strictly necessary. I could do it. Let me think about it. I could do it. Or I pass in another parameter here and I do the same check, you know. And at this point I can probably avoid doing the check here. Yeah, probably that's the best idea. What if we change this function to take our PS item actor as a target, and if the target is empty, I think it's probably the best idea. How do I use the client? Yeah, I also need the client. Yeah. Let's do this. Let's add this parameter, which means I also have to add it as usual on the PS server char. I don't remember what is it. PS server char should be. There it is. Sorry, here we have a view item, and we add a new parameter. Okay. I think the other view item, which is this one, I think we will never use it again. Let me try to comment it out. I think it's not needed anymore. We will never call it. Which is a very simple function, which was just decoding the information. Yeah, let me comment it out, because this one is not needed anymore. Okay, maybe we will delete it. For now I leave it there. So we changed that function, which is nice. And if I go to my view item now, why disappeared? It should be a view item for sure. You've just seen it 1 second ago. Okay. Let me search for it. Okay, 0. My IntelliSense is not updated yet, but it's fine. So we have this one. Did I comment out the right one? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. There should be a view item declaration here somewhere. There it is. Okay, it's fine. So so we call this function, and maybe what we can do that check inside this function instead of doing it here. Okay, so here we just pass in the values. So we pass in the actual player, the target, and nothing else. Yeah, it's probably cleaner. And then inside of this we do the check. So which is this check, and we say that if target is here, then our PS item is pretty easy to find, because PS item is just, so let me do this, let me do PS item equal to null. So we start like this, but then item becomes equal to our target get item data, right? Get item data, and we don't need this anymore. If it's not if it's not an item on the ground, then yes, then in that case we need to search it, because it means that we only have the container ID and the slot. Okay, so I think that will be, this will be fine. This will be fine. Then after this, okay, we check if item exists, and in that case, so this split is because we are having certain items that are actually not physical items, but they are called action locations. At the moment, I'm not planning to port action location, at least not immediately. So the second part of the code is not really needed at the moment. I think we just need this. So it will directly go inside of this. We go inside item view item, okay. Passing in the client, the container ID, the slot ID. I don't know exactly why we are not passing in the item itself. Oh, okay, we are in the item, that's why. Okay, so we are in the item. So it's doing few things here, it's checking if it's fitting in the slots, blah blah blah. And okay, and here is extracting based on the type of object. So if it's a container or if it's an item, it's sending different information, right? At the moment, I'm managing only the container or the basic item, right? So let's start with the basic item and then we continue. So if I go here inside send item description, there is the whole item description creation, which we don't really care about. So we assume that all of this code is working perfectly. Now what we need is this, right? So when we send the description to the client, so in this case we will not use anymore the old messaging system, which is this one, but we will call the new method that I just created, which is inside PlaneShift controller base. So we will call receive item details, this one, right? So we will call this one. The point is that we need to call it on our PlaneShift player controller, right? So I have to do something like client get controller, I mean the usual stuff, right? And then I cast it to a PlaneShift player controller base, which by the way I still have to understand why I called it base. And the result of this, can I do it without parentheses? I don't think so. Maybe yes. And here we should have our receive item details, right? You see it here. Okay, good. And this receive item details is what it requires. It requires the item name, the description, the image, and the stack count, which is exactly these parameters. And it's not that we are lucky, but it's just that I built it exactly the same way, you know. So at this point, this will be this will be sending the message to the client with the description of the item that we just clicked, right? We don't need this anymore. This is impossible, it will never happen, so we can just remove it all, okay? Yeah, I think this part should be okay. Now we need another event, which is the one for containers, because actually containers are working in a slightly different way. So if I go back to to the one calling this. Yes, send item description. I think it's this one, right? No, it's not this one. It's before this one. Okay, here we have another method here which is set container contents. Send container content. So this one is sending the content of a container. So if the item that we clicked is actually a container and not a single item. So yes, so let's go inside of this one. If item is locked, blah, blah, blah. So also we don't care about all this. The only thing that we care is when it's constructing the final message to send it out. There it is. In fact, I commented it out just saying because I was not able to convert it at that time. But we're able to convert it now. So let me just check what this thing is doing. It's checking if the actual it's checking if the actual gem item exists. It's checking if the actual gem item exists. And then is doing what? Is taking the EID. I don't think we need anything like this because let me think about it. I don't think we need any of this because when we will receive this message on the client side, we don't care what he clicked. Whatever he clicked, right? And so we just visualize the result for that item. I think we don't care about this. I think we can remove it. So we can just call our receive item container. So it's the same way we need at least our client, right? In our client we should do get controller exactly like we did there, and we should cast it to our APS whatever, right? So to our A plane shift game based controller, and this thing we call our receive item detail container. So let's see what it needs. It needs the name, the info, the image, the stack count, which is always 0. Okay, I think the stack count we could even remove it then. Why we have it there? No idea. Why we have the stack count? The stack count for a container is always 0, so it makes no sense to have it. Item name, description, icon. The stack count makes no sense. Let's remove it. Okay, and then we have the contents. So the contents is a bit tricky because content is actually a container may have inside of it, like a chest, we may have inside of it a number of items, right? And so we need to send information, at least the icon of all those items, right? So this is what we are doing here. So we need to send the name, the item info, the image name, the stack count, we decided to remove it, and then we need to pass in the one more parameter, which is the items. Okay, so actually the items are created with this function, field container message, right? I think so. This field container message, also all the rest I think we can remove, but the field container message we actually need. There are a few more parameters though that are sent out now that I look at it, because there are max container slots. Max container slots if the container is renameable and if the container can transform. Okay, I think we need all these three things. So this is a boolean, and an integer. I think we should add all this information to our message. So this one will become something like const bool, and then end. We said, let's call it the same way, okay, so we don't get confused. So renameable, then const bool and can transform, and then we will have the array, right? No, sorry, the max slots. I didn't put the max slots. Okay, the max slots as well. So const int and then I copy this container max slots. Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty big function, but it's fine. So all of this will will be sent client side. All of this will be sent client side, and we need to be sure that, can we do it this way directly? Yeah, I think we can. I think we can. I don't like too much these functions with all this stuff in multiple lines, you know. Do you think it's more readable? I don't know if it's more readable or less readable. Is more readable in a sequence? Maybe it is. Do you think it's more readable? Yeah, probably it's more readable. Okay. Now the problem is that we also need the actual array of items. So for the array of items, we need to fill in this. We need to use this field container message. Now, this field container message. Let me see how it is. But I think you should change the signature and adding return an array. Because at the moment it's returning something here, but I don't really care. I don't really care. Yes, add contents. It is where it's adding all the contents. It's all stuff that I commented for now, but you see, commented for now. So I think we need to just create an array, and this function should return a t array of what? T array of item descriptions. So we should return exactly this. So this function becomes something like this, and also in ps item field container message becomes something like this. We don't need anymore this parameter. The client, yeah, I guess we need the client. Not for what, but let's assume we need it. And okay, and up to here is fine. Now, so we will have to move field container message up, and having this, like we said, return t array of descriptions, which we will call contents, and these contents will go here, right? Okay. So now we have to fix field container message, but is yeah, the setup is pretty much done. Now if it works is another question, but the setup is pretty much done. Okay. So field container message, let's go here, and we want this to return the actual content, right? And then you will see how good it is then when we go to the blueprint as a result of this, because we will be able to we will be able to get the results directly and to decompose, let's say, the contents into actual items with their description and stuff, just visually, you know, inside the editor, which is pretty good. Okay. So let's do this. Field container item. Field container item. Now, this code I basically commented out, so we have to be careful and read it again because this may not be correct. So first of all, I disabled a dynamic cast. Well, this one is already a container, so there is no need to do this. We can just do that. We assume that if we arrive here, we assume that the item is a container, right? Because we did the check. We did a check before, so it's not needed we do it here. Hello, I see someone joined. Welcome to the stream. Here we check if the container doesn't exist. In this case, okay, we just bail out. And he's saying, that is a good question there. He's saying this is not a container in the world, so must be a container inside a person inventory. Yes, because when it's inside a person inventory, it doesn't have an item actor associated. So it doesn't have a real actor associated to it. So it's just a logical item. So for now, we are going to test the other path, not this one. Okay, but I think we can fix the code. I think we can fix the code anyway. I think we can fix it anyway. So here we commented out for now. So the first thing we need to do, we need to create the array. T-array, so something like that. Right. T-array f item description, which we will call contents, which at the beginning is just an empty array. Okay, and here what we want to do for each of the items exactly, we want to populate this array. First of all, we want to create an f item description, which I guess he has its own constructor, right? And the constructor takes a slot, container ID, name, mesh name. Should be pretty similar to what we have here. The only problem is that we don't have the container. We actually had it before this call, right? Because field container message, when we are here, we are coming into this function with container ID. We don't have the slot ID. I don't know exactly why, but we have the container ID. Do we want to pass it on to this function? There's a bit of a duplication though, because when I send back passing the but I don't think we need it. Do we care which is the slot that this guy clicked on? I don't think we care about it. I don't think we care about it. So I think we can go without this. I think we can go without this. So we can. What I mean is that we can initialize container ID and slot ID as 0. We don't care. Actually, as -1. I think that -1 means that the item is not. And then we need the name, and the name we have here. Then we need the mesh, I guess. Let me check if we need the mesh. Yes. Then we need the material that we have. Then we need the weight. The weight actually we don't have. The weight, the size, the stack count, the image. So the image we have, but we are missing some data. I think we can get it though. So let me try to get the weight of this guy. So if I do child, come on, this is a comma, boy. If I do get weight, yes, it exists, so we are fine. Then there is a get size. I hope we have a get size. Get item size, yes, perfect. Then we need a stack count, which we have here is child get stack count. So we are fine with that. Then we need the icon image, which we have exactly here. Then we need what do we need? Then we need the purify status, which is here. Actually, here there is also the location in parent. Maybe the location in parent is actually the slot. So if we want, we could pass the location in parent as the slot ID, right? If we want to. Okay, let's do that. Let's pass in that item. Okay. So basically, with this code, what we did, we filled in, we created a new PS item description, which now we want to add to our array, right? So we want to do contents.add, and then we want to add this guy. So there is new child. So we want to add new child, right? So we add this one here. Hopefully it takes the pointer and is keeping the pointer, and this object doesn't get destroyed after I exit from this scope. But I think it does not. If it does, then we are going to use a pointer. But so now we populate all these items, and after we populate all these items, we want to return contents. Okay, we want to return contents. Okay, so this piece is done. Now this other piece down here is exactly the same, with the difference that this guy is iterating. I don't know exactly what he's doing. Basically doing the same. Client inventory. Well, no, it's a bit different because it's checking. Okay, yeah, it's fine. I think the code is fine. So here we need to do the same. So we want to create a new item, and this new item should have the same information. So the location in parent is still valid. Yes. The I'm sorry, but child doesn't exist anymore. Wait a second. Yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's perfectly okay. Then we need the container ID, and I would say for this one we pass in -1 like we did above. Then is the same sequence of parameters, so is get name is the same thing. is get name, get mesh, get texture, and then I will add get weight, get size, get stack count, image, and purify status. Yeah, the only difference is that we need a get stack count to be this. I don't know why it's doing that, but let's keep it as it was in the old code, and I think we are fine. Okay. So in theory, if all works well, we are returning all the items contained in that particular container back to our calling function, which is this one. And then as soon as we receive the contents here, we are passing it to this function, which is sending it to the client. Right? Okay. I think it's good. Then what we can do maybe here in the blueprints. So here is our request going out, and here is our answer coming in, right? So we have two answers, the single item and the multiple item. So for now, I think I would just print out, right? I will just print out. The only problem that we have to remember is that this one is still server side, right? This one is still server side. So the thing that we want to do the same as we did here. Which is to create a new function that is called receive item details on client, right? Otherwise, because we cannot stay server side, we have to go back client side. So I will add a new event, new event, which we called receive item details on client. This guy should have the same parameters. Let's do it like this, and then we will expand it later. This one should have the same parameter of this one, but this one should be executed on owning client and be reliable. And so here we add 1, 2, 3, 4 parameters. We want to call the parameters exactly like the one that we have here. How do I get it? I think the easiest is from here. No, because this one is another one. No, I need to print them out. I need to enter them because this one are generated. Okay, so no problem. So one is item name, and this one is a string. Then we have description, and this one is also string. Then we have icon, this one is a string. Then we have stack count, and this one is an integer. Okay, so now this function has exactly the same parameters. So what we want to do, I think that this printout, I will put it there. I will call receive item on client, right? Which is, I mean, this call is just moving between the server and the client. It's doing nothing else. The parameters are all the same. Okay, and so now we are on the client. So now on the client we can print out something like we can have an append, and we can print out whatever, receive item details, and then we can print out, I don't know, the item name, right? Which is fine. Okay, and then we will have all the other information. By the way, why we don't have item name, description, item stack count? I'm just a bit surprised why we don't have all the other parameters there. So why for the containers we are sending all this other stuff? And for the single item we are sending only the name, and I mean we are sending all this stuff, which is pretty cool. When we are showing a container, when we show a single item, we don't do this. I don't like it too much. Why? I think it should be the same. Why it should be different? Item name, description, stock count. Why not sending also all the other information? Because maybe most of that information is in the description. I know. Yeah, I think the reason is that it's packed inside the description, right? Okay. Not really a fan of that, but let's leave it. Let's leave it like this. Then we need to do the same. We need to do the same also for the container. I don't know if I should place it here or there, but let's place it here. So for the container, we need a function which has the same parameters and is running on the client. So this one should be receive item details container on client. I know it's a pretty long name, but whatever. Doesn't cost money, so it's fine. So the first one is item name, which is the name of the container, by the way. It's not the name of the contained item. The second one is the description. I think it's fine. The third one is the icon. And the stack count, we removed it, right? Yes, I think I need to recompile to have this guy show me the new methods. So let me save it and let me recompile hot reload on this side. So we see first of all if it compiles, and second if we get the right parameters on in the blueprints. This series is called Building an MMO One Evening at a Time. We can do it, boys. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. Okay. So it's recompiling. The other day I was thinking, you know, about the problem that we are having with the coordinates, that our map is shifted quite a bit. I mean, why we don't move the map back exactly where it was in the old plan shape, so at least all the coordinates of the first part of the city are exactly the same, and so it means that we can keep our path, our movement, and our NPC locations exactly the same, right? Maybe we can do that. The only problem is that between one map and the other there is a kind of a warp space mechanism, so it's not really. Yes, we miss contents here. And then what else? It says that this function is not okay. Receive item details container, it doesn't like it. Overloaded render function not found. Let's see after removing that error, maybe we like it. No, still complaining. Not all control paths are returning a value. Didn't it just fix it? I don't know. Because this is the case in which he has no child. Okay. Yeah, I think it's fine. That's fine. We just have to return content also here. Also here. Right? Yes. We don't have people watching on Twitch. I'm just wondering if it's worth it to do the double stream. I mean, on YouTube we have people, but on Twitch there is no one watching. Oh, well, there is one guy watching, but I don't know if that's me or you. But yeah, we need to advertise somehow, like maybe advertising on Unreal Engine forums or somewhere to say that we exist, so that people join and help me to develop the game. Even if at the beginning I think I need a lot of help to really ramp up, you know, and start the operations, but now I think I kind of got a hang of it, so I kind of understand what I have to do. Why doesn't like receive item details container? Receive item details container. Receive item details container. Why saying it doesn't? Receive item details container. I mean, this one will never be implemented. They mess up with the parameters. Item name, description, icon, container slot, renameable. Why is complaining? It seems it doesn't like. Oh, by the way, here we didn't add a new child to the array. Okay. Apart from that, it seems it doesn't like when we call our receive item detail container. Right? Why doesn't like it anymore now? Receive item details container. Illegal call to non-static function member. Why? Receive item detail. There is some mess. I did some mess with the parameters or something else. Calling this function. There is something it doesn't like. There is something it doesn't like when I call this function. I don't know why, but maybe I messed up with the parameters or. Why doesn't give me the still parsing? Maybe it's still parsing. Yeah. Let's give him a second so that he parses the new source files. Because it seems that he's very confused about this function. I don't know why. Why is not recognizing this function? So I'm on planeshift player controller base, and okay, let me put all of this in parentheses. Maybe we like it more. Okay, maybe this word is confusing him. No. Okay, now I think you got it. I don't know what he's doing. Okay, the script name, description, image, container slots, renameable, which is a boolean, can transform, and the content. So it's perfectly fine. It's exactly the way it is. I don't understand why it doesn't like it. Let me check the real output, because sometimes the real output is easier to read, you know. So it's saying void ISNC container f string const f string blah 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 blah. Overloaded member function not found in planeshift player controller base. Why overloaded, by the way? So like he doesn't recognize my parameters. It doesn't like my parameters for some reason. Let me remove this code for a second. I want to understand if the problem is here or is somewhere else and the compiler is getting funny, you know. Let me see if it compiles this way. No, it still doesn't like it. It still doesn't like it, even if... Wow. I didn't place const in the declaration, maybe? I don't know. It seems that the boolean do not have the const. They have it here. So for whatever reason, booleans should not have const. I don't know why though. Did I ever write another function like this with a boolean? Yes, I have this one, which is a const bool result. But I didn't put the end on it. Why? On handle name. Let me just check this function in the blueprint, how it looks, okay? I need to go find in blueprints, yes, on handle name. It looks perfectly fine. Okay. Why the boolean doesn't need the end? No, I don't know why. But anyway, that's the way it is. So we will Because like an int does, but the bool doesn't. Like it's another type for some reason. No idea. Okay, let's try this way. Maybe boolean and if you know, tell me. If you don't know, it's the same. It's okay. We are going with this. We are reusing our own knowledge. So we took the other function and we're doing the same. So now, after having done this, I think we can test at least that when we right click on an item, we get the proper message client side, okay? We can test it in game now. But first I need this thing to compile. It's compiling. Yeah, I think now I can also put back this call, and it should be fine. How are you today, guys? Anyone alive there? Are you fine? Okay. Okay, actually compiled. So let me recompile just with this line in addition, but I think it's fine. So here on the client, on the blueprints, we should see that this is actually changed then. For sure it is. Here we should have different parameters. No? No, I think it's fine. Receive item container. No, I think it's fine. It's 3 strings, 1 int, 2 booleans. Yes, they're nameable. 3 strings, 1 boolean, no, 2 booleans. 3 string, 1 int, 1, 2, 3, 1 int, 2 booleans, and 1 array. Yeah, I think it's fine. It's perfectly fine. Okay. So no changes here. So we need to move again from the server side, which is here, to the client side, which is here. I have to change this to be run on owning client and reliable. And then I need to add the same parameters I have there. So the third one is, I think I can just copy paste the names, maybe it's easier. Is max container slots, yes. And this one is an integer. Then we have renameable, which is a boolean. Then we have can transform, which is a boolean as well. And then we have contents, which is an array of item description. Okay, good. So these are exactly the same parameters we have above. We need to do this call because we need so receive item client, receive item detail container. Yes, we need to do this because we need to switch between the server side and the client side. There is a very easy way to do it. I mean, you could do it also in C++, but it requires more time, you know, than just doing this. So it's just moving to the client side. The client side we are here. So I think we can copy the same printout, and we can just print out the, for now, we can say receive container details, just print the name of the container. Okay, so if we arrive here, I think we are already in good shape. It means that all the all the thing worked. At the moment, those containers will be empty, so we'll have no content because we cannot yet move, things. You're getting hot chocolate with this temperature? I mean, here it's very hot. It's like 35 degrees. I mean, not at this time, but let me check. Is 26 degrees now, Celsius, and 78 Fahrenheit. We have a humidity of 60%. But if you take during the day, is much more than this. It was like, I don't know, 30 or something, or 32 or 33, I don't know exactly, but it was a lot. So hot chocolate sounds distant from here. Okay, so we have this done. Let's just test it, okay? Let's just do a test and see if everything works. So let me compile and save, so that we are sure that everything is okay. We have some printouts, so we should get some information. Before doing this, let me maybe do this. Let me just do a clean compile so we are sure, because you see all these DLLs, these are all hot reloads, and which are okay, but I will also launch it in Visual Studio, so in case it crashes, we have a way to check what is the error, okay? Okay, so let's recompile. Let's recompile, my friends. I think I will take something to drink. What about this? What about this? What about that? We have a fresh drink. Yep. I wanted to clear out some of the errors, but all these hide class members, there are like a million of those, like perception 182. I think I should do like one every day, and then at the end we will have done all of them. Like perception 182, like this vector position, yes, is hiding the class. So it's very bad practice to have the name of a variable to be the same as the class, because it may mess up. So in this case I will call it out position because it's the position that we send out, and I will call it out sector, and so we can say that out position and out sector are getting overridden with the value of this class. So we are removing these two. I think it's a very good practice. In the past the compilers were not really caring about it, but I think now they do, and I think it's good that they do. So another one is here, pspat 581. Maybe we can do one or two every day, and then we will have them all fixed. fixed. PSPAT, what is PSPAT? PSPAT, I don't see it. Is it PSPAT 581 581? Yeah, you see, is the name. So in this case, we can do something like in name, and we can say in name equal to name. Yeah, we should do it. In some cases, you go there, you check, and you have the doubt of if it's correct or not. Right? Like 482. Let's do another one just for fun. 482, like he's saying that pet is overriding a class value, right? Which is very bad because like here now you don't know if you want to call it on this one or you want to call it on the one that is in the class. So it's very, very bad. It's very, very bad. We should never do this. I assume, but I'm not 100% sure obviously, that this pet is the one that we pass in as a parameter, but I cannot be sure of that. I will have to go back and check all the code and see if it makes sense or not. Okay. Anyway, our server is started meanwhile, so let's launch the client and let's try to see what happens. Let's try to see what happens, boys. Okay. So I have a container. We can go in a place that's not so noisy. Let me pick up this if I can. Yes, I can. Let me go in a place that is a bit less noisy. In a quiet place like this one. This place is very quiet. I like it. So we have a wooden bowl. Wooden bowl. How do you say it in English? Wooden bowl. So I drop it. I can't remove this because it was a breakpoint that I placed yesterday. And now our ball is on the ground. So what we did, the code that we did is that now I should be able to right click, and when I click on this icon, all the code that we just converted should be executed. I think it worked. Receive container details, wooden bowl. Wow. Didn't crash, didn't do anything, it just worked. I'm freaking amazed. Why is always night in this game? Wow. Okay, let's try with a non-container. So for example, the spoon is a non-container, right? Let's try to do this. Wooden spoon. I think it works pretty well. Wow. Really? All that code is working? Nice. Okay, now, if this works, which is very nice, what we need to do, yeah, we have a bit of an issue here because we cannot right click on this, but it's okay, it's okay. Let me just change the time of the day. Can I change the time of the day from here? I think there was. Probably we removed it. Time of the day. Right. Oh, nice. Okay. I think it will be overridden very soon, but at least his light is yeah, it's there again. Okay, so we have these two items now. Drop it on the ground. One is a bowl, another is a spoon. Seems to work okay. Now what we want to do, we want to create a UI to actually visualize. Yes, the time of the day goes overridden by the server very quickly. But yeah, we want to have a UI that displays that. So we just quit. We just quit here as well. And we want to create a new UI. Simple UI, and then maybe Cyborg will make it all nice and shiny. But for us at the moment is enough if we do it very simple. Just a simple UI. We could check maybe the old UI. The old UI, do you want to do it the same as the old UI? Maybe we want. Let me see the old UI, okay? Let me see if we launch the old client and we check how it was. There is the old client, so don't get confused. Okay. We enter with our main character. So that we have administration power and everything. Oops, no, I wanted to click here. Okay, so we are in. You immediately notice the difference in terms of lights. How let's say plain and basic are the lights in the old client. Even if I cannot like it, I mean it's plain and basic, but it's not bad. Who's here in the plaza waiting? Who's this guy? There is a player actually. And this one is a player as well. So 2 players. So they have the same race, so they have the same stand animation. There is something at their feet. I don't know exactly what is it. I think it's a pet. But anyway, apart from this, why I came here? Ah yes, because I want to view an item. So if I click on an item, any item in my inventory, and again, this is the old client, don't get too excited. This is what I get. So I get this examine window, which is very simple. He has a scrollable text, an icon, a name, and I think in parentheses probably the stack count. Yes, it's the stack count. So it's a very simple window. I think we can create a window like this for the item. Then for the container is a bit different, okay, because the container is more complex. But for the actual item, I think we can create something like that. And then we will think if we want to do something which is more fancy. So let's create a new UI. Let's see. We should go under game widgets. Is that a widget? No, that's a window. So we should call it, yeah, we should call it window something. And can we derive it from something else that is similar? So we don't get crazy. I would say no. Because we never did something like that. I mean, we could start from the exchange window, but you know, it's a bit overkill to start from here to go there. Yeah. I think we can make a new. Hello, Bledart. I'm from Italy. If you cannot figure out by the accent, I'm from Italy. Where are you from? So let's make this new UI, okay? Probably I will start from scratch. I think it's easier. We just have canvas and nothing else. We are Turkish, okay? Good to know. How did you find us? Are you interested in Unreal Engine or? I'm developing the whole game. By the way, for the people on YouTube that are confused, I'm speaking with a guy that is connected to the Twitch channel, okay? Because we are streaming at the same time on YouTube and Twitch. I'm developing at the moment. What we are doing, I can tell you, Bleda. We are developing. What is our mission? There is our mission. So the final mission is to be able to craft something. Okay, so to have this guy be able to craft something. Meaning they will take a bowl, a spoon, some materials, and will craft something. Okay. Now, unfortunately, to be able to do this, I have to go through a few other missions before, right? Because we are lacking some basics in the game. So the mission I'm doing now is this one: being able to view container contents. Okay, it is the one that I'm working on. And so yes, we are building some UI. Now we built up to now we built the server side in C++. Maybe you just joined, but we worked a bit on the on the code. And now that we have the code, we are building the UI to actually show that on screen, right? And you have a game studio. Okay, nice. Oh, by the way, I checked that video already because when I clicked on it, it started from the middle. So I think I checked your video already. Yeah, I think I remember it. I don't know why I checked it and when I checked it, but maybe I was looking at other people developing Unreal games. It's pretty cool. The area reminds me of Serious Sam. I don't know if you have played Serious Sam, but Serious Sam had some areas that were I mean, very place similar to this, and not Egypt or whatever, like in the desert, you know, like in the middle of the desert, and mainly the open spaces reminds me something like that, because yeah, there were similar. I'm on another screen, by the way, so people cannot see it, but I can, if you want, I can display it. I don't think that Twitch will complain about it. So it's this one, huh? Yeah, the environment looks very cool. I like it. Yeah, it's good to see there's someone else developing in Unreal. I think there is a lot of people actually, but you know, on Twitch there are not many people that are streaming their development. There are a few, I mean, but not really many. So if you want to follow and maybe look at our other streams, they would be nice. You wrote in Unreal Engine forums? Yes, that's probably why then. It's an MMO. Okay, nice. We are making an MMO already, or actually we have an MMO already, which is this one, which is made with pretty old technology, and we are changing to a new technology, which is Unreal. So I'm trying to convert this game to Unreal, which is not very easy because we were using a different engine, you know, different code, different everything, but we are, let's say, yeah, we are converting it slowly. So there is the old client, and so you can recognize, you know, the lights are very simple and everything is very simple, but it works. I mean, we have all the functionality, and you can see your inventory, you can see items, you can see everything. So, and now I'm porting this to Unreal, which is not a very easy exercise. So it's taking time, but I'm making good progress. Definitely making good progress. Okay, let's create a new UI. Yeah, we have millions of line of code, just millions. Just let's say this week I ported I think 5,000 line of code. But you know, to arrive to 1 million is a long way. It's a very long way, but we will get there. There's a few other people helping me, so I'm not really alone, but I'm doing the majority of the job at the moment. Okay, so we'll call this one win item description, item details. What was called in the old one? In the old one, it was called container. It was called container description window, the one for the container. Yeah, who cares anyway how it was called? Who cares? We can call it different. We will call it item details, and we will call it item container details. Okay, so we will create two. Can one be a subset of the other? Maybe not. I don't know. So what we need here? We need something very simple. We need, at the moment, we just need a name, stack count. So we just need a text, which we will call text the item name. And then we need just an icon. Now the icon, I think we can reuse because we did many UIs with the icon, right? Or not? Well, we actually have the slot item, but I don't know if the slot item is the best because it's actually clickable, and I don't think we want to click this thing. Let me check in the widgets. In the widgets we have WD slot item. Yes, the slot item is the one that I was saying. The problem of this one is that you can drag and drop stuff into it, and I don't think is what we want, right? So probably you can just have an image, right? Just have an image. I mean, we don't care about it being clickable or anything else. Well, the point is that we may want, though, that this takes from the atlas of the icons. Is there any other place? Category item. Yeah, I think like it's like this one. Button is like this one. Button item icon is WD button. Yeah, why not? WD button. Like which doctor button? WD button. I think we can use this one. WD button, yes. Okay, I don't know why is this big? I mean, okay. We want it to be that simple or not? I have no idea. For now, let's leave it like this. Then we will change slightly the font, or I mean, we will have maybe someone else work on it. Okay. For now, let's just do it like this. So this will be the item name. This will be the icon, and then the only thing that we have a text, which is actually scrollable text. The scrollable text, I think we did it already a few other times. Like, where do we have scrollable text in the current Windows? Apart from the chat. I think in the quest window. Yeah, this text is definitely scrollable. So the way we did it, we have a scroll box, a sides box, and a text into it. I don't know why we need a sides box, but let's do it the same. Is this the same? Scroll box, sides box, and text box. Okay, I think it's fine. Works for me. So scroll box, we can place it here. This window will be pretty small anyway, so we don't want it to go, you know, too big. This will be our scroll item description, and inside of that, I understood we need a sides box. And we can put it inside of this, and inside of this we need a text. We said a text or a text box. Text, just simple text. Okay, and oops, I placed a slider. Text block, yes, perfect. So this one will size based on the text, and it will be scrollable if it becomes too long, right? I think I just need to flag it as multi-line or something. Auto wrap. I think you should just say auto wrap and default wrapping. Yes, I think it's like this. I think it should be okay. Now we need this text box to be our txt item description, and the txt item description should be a variable because we want to use it, right? We want to use it from outside this. Okay, I think that's it. We will have nothing else in this window. Well, what we will have the close button, but I think that if we make this window then part of the standard system, you know, the W container, then I think that will be fine. Maybe for now I can just add a small button here to close the window. Oh well, since I have it already, I think I can use this button to close it. Why not? So when you click on that, it will close the window. So we will do what is it? Remove from parent. Widget remove from parent. I think this one is gonna close it, right? I don't remember exactly, but I think it is. Okay. Well, actually, I want the window to go away, right? I don't want the button to go away. I don't know if this is yeah, I want the window to go away. This, I think we remove the button actually. Just the button will go away. So I think I will need anyway to put the pointer to this window inside my PS character, so I can create it as. I think I have to do the work of creating it properly. It's a bit annoying, but I think I have to. Let me check. So inside player controller, I think we did it. No? Where did we do this? I remember there was the initialization of all the windows in begin play. Begin play. It's not here though. It's not the begin play of this guy. No, strange. I remember it was here, but probably is not. It's pretty simple. Let's search for. Don't remember exactly which graph it is, but because I'm not working on this part since pretty long time. Let me check. The NPC bubbles. Well, the NPC bubble is a bit special. Let me get the exchange. I think the exchange is perfect. The win exchange. Let me search everywhere in blueprints. Win exchange. I think we will find it. There it is. Where are we? We're in W container. Okay, so is the begin play of W container. The point is that so we are storing all the special windows that are basically not part of the standard UI. Like you cannot open and close the window, but you can open and close it only when you perform a certain action, right? So that's why it's shown separately. But here we have the exchange, the merchant, and that's it. Only those two windows. Why we don't have the NPC chat bubble? Probably because it's different in terms of shape. Yeah, probably because it's very different in terms of shape. Yes. Now, to add a new window was not so trivial. There was quite a bit to do, if I remember right. It was quite a bit to do. First thing first, we had to add here. By the way, NPC dialog is something that he added to this. Okay. Shortcut, canvas, map, menu bar, friend settings, change, blah 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 blah. So these are all the windows that are getting created. I think unfortunately we need to create two more. So one will be canvas, and I think we need to create it here. I hope that Cyborg is not working on this part because I will override some of his. Let me just check if he's online. Yes, he's online. Let me just tell him I'm modifying the W container because I need to add two new windows. One to view a a single item, one to view a container. Just to let you know, I will have to check in those files, w container and such. Okay, because I think he was working on something, you know, I was working on something, but oh wow, wt container doesn't have the. Ah yes, it does. Can I see it? Maybe I cannot see them because they are because they're not visible. I was confused because I was not seeing stuff, you know, and it's just because they've been made non-visible here on the. Okay. NPC dialog. Okay, I think that all of them are derived from this. So we need to add a new canvas. 2 new canvas actually. So the canvas, where is it here? Yes, this canvas will be called canvas item description. It's too long. I don't know. Canvas item description or item desk, item description, item desk, item detail. I think we called it item detail, right? And yes, it's about this sides. Just checking the different parameters if there is any. I mean, must be a variable, yes. And then we need another one, which is called canvas container detail. Also, this one must be a variable. And so we have these 2 new variables here. Okay, fine. Then what we need to do, we need to go here in the code and add these 2 canvas. So container detail and item detail. We need to add them to this. Right, 1 and 2, neat. And then I can expand this one a bit, maybe. Yes. And then what? Okay. Then these windows, then I have to do a number of other things. First of all, I need to go in my, is in my canvas? I never remember, where is it? I see it's here, window data. I need to ensure that all the arrays here are properly set, right? So for example, draw window border, if you want a border or not for these 2 additional windows. So I will add 2 new elements and I will say that yes, I want the border for these 2. Very good. Then if the window is drawn by default, and no, those 2 windows are not drawn by default. If the window is locked, I don't remember what this is, I think we removed it, but anyway, all empty, so I will leave it empty. If the window is pinned, I think we also removed this, by the way, so I would say no. Then that is the actual canvas array, which is this thing that we are creating here. So fine. Then we have window height limits and window width limits. Okay. So window height limits, we need to add 2 windows, and I need to check what is the size of the first one and the second one. So the size of this one is actually pretty small. Is basically this box. How do I get the coordinates of this thing? Here it is at the top. Okay. So this one can be 420 by 350. So the height is 350. 350. Minimum and maximum, because we cannot resize this, right? The width is, we said 420. So in this one, we need to add 2 more. And the first one is 420. 420. Okay. Then we need the screen position. Well, the screen position is a bit tricky, because actually the screen position will be changed based on, screen position is a bit tricky. Let's put it kind of in the middle for now. So let's say whatever, 200. I mean, it's not in the middle, but anyway, not in the top left. I mean, so let's do like this. Then we need the window size. What is the difference between window size and width and height limits? I don't remember, but it's fine. So we will have for this one the X, which is 420, and the Y, which is 350. For the second one, we don't know, but we will find out very soon. Then we add 2 new things here. One is called win detail something. No, win item details. Yes. And the second one we don't have yet. We will fill it out in a second. And then we have our window arrays. Okay, so I think we filled out everything here. Now, if I remember right, there is something more to do. We need to edit the window table, which is this one. Even if I see that, no. I was expecting to see the new windows added to this, but I don't see any. Okay, strange, very strange. Very, very strange. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 16, 17. I remember there was a sort of match. Anyway, I will call it item detail and and container detail. I remember the last time I did it, if I was messing up with this order, something was breaking, but I don't know. Maybe let's just create the other class, okay? So that we can set it up. We can set it. So the other class. So we created a window. Why window menu bar has been edited? I think I never changed it. We created our win item detail. I will just save it and clone it. And I will call it win container details, okay? Win container details. Okay. So now win container details. So now at least I can set the class. I think the size is pretty much the same. There are just few more icons on the left, right? I think that's the only difference. Well, there are quite few icons on the left, but no, it's bigger. Anyway, the window itself is quite different. So let me just set the win container details as a class, and then in terms of size I still have to figure it out. So I think now I can remove this button, it's not needed. Yeah. What I wanted to do, yeah, two things. I wanted to ensure that when we set all the windows inside create window here, like the same way we are storing the exchange window and the merchant window, I also want to do if this equals item detail, I will do something, and if this equals item detail container container detail, I will do something else. Okay, so this will basically be the same code as here. So there will be a branch in both cases, and this will be the condition, and then I will have to cast the window coming in. I will have to cast it to win item details. And then I will have to set a variable in my container. Do I set this variable in the container directly, or I do it in I do it in my player controller? Yes, exactly. So in my player controller I need to add two variables which are actually called win item detail, and this one is of type win item details, and then I need to have another one which is called win container detail, which is of type, guess what, container detail. Okay, so with these two windows up, these are variables. So we have these two variables set on my plane shift controller, right? Now let me check now. So these two variables we set. Okay, fine. Now we go back to the container, and what we do here, we just cast it to this. I did it, and then I need to using player controller reference the same way. I will have actually one here and one here. And here I will have another one going in. Maybe I can do this. Oh. I will have this cast to win container details. Okay. I don't know if I like it more this way or you know, that is going from here to here. No, this is a mess. Okay, I think it's fine. So I cast it to this. And then I want to set win item detail here, and I want to set win container detail here. Okay, which is very good. I don't know why this player reference is not on top. I really like it more on top and not down there. Okay. Good. So we just have to connect the dots now. So we need to connect these folds to this. We need to connect this through to this, and these folds to this. We need to connect this here. We need to connect this here and this here. Okay. Do you think it's correct? It looks okay for me. So this becomes store whatever. Same description. Well, similar description. We will have store the item detail window in player controller. Here we have the same. Store the container detail window handler in player controller. Okay, fine. Yeah. So we are setting all of this. So this means that now we should have, when the game starts and the W container is initialized, we should have a pointer, so a variable connected to our player character, to our player controller, right? Hello, Bubble Dad. How are you, man? Thanks for joining. You have a question about Unreal? No problem. I'm pretty noob on Unreal, but now go on, try to ask a question. If I can answer, I will answer, but I'm not the best expert. Okay, so also I stream pretty often, so if you want to follow, you can come back and watch what we are doing. We are making an MMO. We chose just a simple game, you know, to start, and so we decided to make an MMO. I'm joking, but yes, we are making an MMO. Store container blah blah blah. Okay, so we have this, which is pretty good. So now that we have this, what I want to do, okay, I created one window. Let's create the other window. Let's create the other window. So we created item details. I want to create, it's very simple at the moment, but it's fine. The container details. Okay, this one is a bit more complex. We will have, in the same way we have here, we will have the name at the top, the icon exactly the same, there is a rename button, which I would place it so that we remember that we need it. And this can be, I think this one can be just a standard button. I don't think we need anything different. And we can call it button rename. And we can call it, well, the text we don't care, but this one we will say rename. And then one day we will decide to localize everything and our life will be nicer. But anyway, this one is to rename the container. If you want to name your sacks the way you want, you can, you know, or your chest or whatever it is. Bubble, if you're still there, you can ask your question. I don't know if you're still there, but in case you are, please ask. Okay. So you're saying, I learned core C++ last year. Okay, I want to start the game development using EU4, using C++. Okay. But when I visit the EU4 API page to look for classes and functions, I can't understand anything. What is your preferred way to learn EU4? First blueprint.c++ EU API. Well, I think that there is a lot of power in blueprints, which at the beginning I was thinking they were only, you know, a marketing tool, like Unreal saying, hey, we have blueprints, you can create things visually, and I was thinking it was not possible to actually use them, but it's completely false. I mean, you can use them very well. Look at these blueprints, we are actually using them. We have actually pretty big graphs, and they work very well. So I think you will never do, at least in Unreal, a pure C++ project. I think you will always have a mix of blueprints and C++, just because the blueprints are so useful and so easy to use. Then, for example, now I'm creating a simple UI, you know, and I want to connect this button to a certain functionality. I mean, it's much easier to do it in blueprints, and then only if you need it to go to C++. So my suggestion would be to start from blueprints and start, for example, to create simple UI, you know, and the simple UI with just display an image or whatever. So just start very, very simple. And then you can, I think the easiest way for you to understand C++ is, for example, to create a new actor, right? So you have, for example, your level, you know, which in our case is under maps, main world, and let me take a simple one like the starter map. Yeah, save this. So is the starter map this one? No, I wanted the podium map. Okay, this one. So you just make a simple map, and you can make it with cubes or whatever. You can use the C++ third-person template, right? If you start from the C++ third-person template, I think it would be very easy. And then what you can do, you can say, okay, I want an actor, so I want something in this scene which is made of C++, right? I don't know, an enemy, a ball, a light, anything. So, and then what you do, you create a new actor. So you just go here and say new actor, new whatever, new C++ class. You do new C++ class, and you derive it, for example, from actor. Okay? This means that the engine will create for you a new C++ class in Visual Studio, which is like a dummy, like a stub, and is derived from actor. So meaning that if you take the actor, and it will also create something like this here. So meaning that if you drag and drop it into your world, then you see this white sphere, whatever, means that you will be able then to put it there and to use it. There is no way to there is no need to convert your project to C++, you can just start, I think, a blueprint project, and then you can just add a new class. I think I'm not 100% sure of what I just said, but I think when I started, I created, yeah, probably I started from third person C++. But I mean, the easy way of the easy thing of Unreal is that if you go to your directory, you know, everything that is under content, you can just copy paste to another project. So let's say that you created your blueprint project, okay? So you create another project, which you will call my first C++ project, okay? And let's assume that you have your content already created in your blueprint one. You can just copy this. You can just do copy paste, you know, copy paste, and it will perfectly work. It will perfectly work. So it's very easy to move content between one project and the other. It's very simple. And you will have your blueprints here, and you can move your blueprints and such. So yeah, my suggestion would be, depending on the game you want to do, but starting from the third person C++ template is very good, because he already has a character, the character can already move, you know, so you have all the basic functions that you need. There is no need for you to start to create a new game from scratch. I mean, you will never do it in Unreal, okay? So you just take an existing template and you expand it, okay? And at the moment, I think if you want to learn, the best way for you will be, yes, take the template and try to do small changes, like adding a new actor, like I show you. For example, I added this living armor actor. So it's just a simple armor, right? Which has some blueprints, but it can also have some C++ code behind. So you can do that. And in general, at least to me, my suggestion is that if you learn the blueprints, you will definitely be happy about it, because there is a lot of stuff that I do, like here. This is my main character class, okay? And I can show you how I have organized my classes if you want. It's not too complex, but that is how I organize my classes. So there is the character of Unreal, okay? I derived a new class, which is a C++ class from it, okay? So this is my C++ class. So if I go in my code, I will find a PS character class, which is here, PS character.h, which is actually this one. Let me go to APS character here. You see, so this is a U class, Unreal API. So this one is an Unreal class, okay? And this APS character, and this one I can find in the editor. Under C++ classes. I can find it under bulk of here, PS character. There is that class, that C++ class, right? So I derived it that way. Then I derived the C++ class to create a blueprint, because I also wanted this character to have blueprints, right? And then I derived it once more for the actual 3D model. So basically, you see, I'm using a mix. No problem. If you have any other question, you can ask. Okay, so going back to where we were building this, yes, and we want to build it, similar to this. So you see there are a lot of icons. Use container, combine item in container, take and stack all, take all, open inventory. Okay, this is just opening this. Open inventory and transfer to inventory. I mean, transfer to inventory what? All of them? Wow. Okay. Okay, so I think we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 icons if you want to keep the same logic. These icons are all WD buttons because all of those can be clicked. So WD button. So we need 1. I don't know why he has the thingy slightly. 2. So this is the icon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Wow. Okay. Now we can put these icons maybe close to each other, right? So it's not needed to have all this space. And then I can make it look nicer, but it's fine. So these icons are button. What is the first one? Use. So this button use. Then we have combine, take and stack. So this one would be button combine. This one will be button take and stack. Then we have take all, button take all. Then we have take all. Then we have open inventory, button open inventory, and then we have transfer to inventory, button transfer inventory. Okay. Then we need a slot. So here is where we really need the slot item, because it's also something that we can drag and drop to, right? So I think the description we can keep it the same size, maybe a bit less. I don't know, it looks a bit smaller in this one. And then we can have down here, and this one really we can copy. We can copy it from the Exchange window. We can copy from the Exchange window, because no, from the inventory. I would do it with this 4x4. But it's 4x4 scrollable. Holy shit! It's 4x4 scrollable. Interesting. Okay, so let's go and check. I think we have our Windows. I think Exchange is not scrollable. Yes, Exchange is not, but I think that inventory could be. Where is it? It's under I think it's under widget character something. Tabs inventory. Okay, see. This thing is also created dynamically. Wow. This thing is created dynamically. You see that we don't have any slots there, so the slots are actually created on the fly. Very interesting. So we have an overlay, we have a wrap box, and then I think in the blueprints we are creating. The actual items. Okay, let's do this. So wrap box. Is there an object called wrap box? Yes, there is. Okay, let's try. So I will need, is the overlay wrapped into anything else, or who is the father of the overlay? The father of the overlay is the grid panel on top. Yeah, but I don't think I need it. So I think I can do just an overlay. How big it should be? Should be as big as to contain the 4 icons, which are exactly those 4, right? So it should be as big as this. Maybe we can leave some space between the first icon and the others, but like the first one is the actual, the script is the actual icon of the item, so we can do like this, and this one should take at least the space of the 4, right? And horizontally the same, yeah, but I think it's okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so this one is our overlay. Then inside of this we need a wrap box. This one will be called, okay, wrap box 0, okay, so I think it's fine. Then this one will be populated. Let me see the size of this. The size of this seems to be filling. Yeah, I should do like this. Okay, so I selected here in the alignment the fact that he has to fill the father. Okay, I think it's okay. And okay, I think it's enough for now. Do we need anything else in this window? No, we don't need anything else. So this will be the container window. Now we need a way to populate it, right? Because when we receive the message that we just created in C++, so if we go here, if we go under where was it? Was in, yeah, was here, right? So when we receive this message, we move to the client, which is fine, and what we want to do, we want to get for this player controller the win item details and the win container details, and we want to call a function on this, which we still have to create, but we can go here and create it. This function will be called something like, I don't know, set content or something like that. So we add a new event and we call it set item content. The set item content should get the same parameters. So should get all this stuff. So yeah, all this stuff. So should get item name. So we need to do inputs item name. Come on, item name string. Then the next one is description, which is also string. Then the next one is icon, which is also string. And then we have stack count. Okay. Stack count, which is an integer. Okay. So this will be the set item content for this window. Now we need also a set item content for the container window. So we go here, we create a new, this one I should remove. We create a new method, a new event, add event, boom, and we call it set container content. And this one should have the same parameters that we have here, all these ones, so all of those. So item name, Let me just move this to one close to the other so it's quicker. Item name, which is a string, then we need two other strings. One is description, the other is icon, and then we need max container slot, which is an integer. Max container slot. And then we need renameable, which is a boolean. Then we need another boolean, which is can transform. And then we need the last one, a pointer to contents, sorry, an array to item description. An array to item description. There should be an array. Okay, good. So we set up all of this. So we have set up the two methods that will populate our windows, right? Pretty good. Now, as a first test, just to start to test something, instead of printing out here, right? I don't want to print out here anymore because this was actually working. We tested already. I will call set item content on this window, and set item content, we just populate these parameters. Oops, cannot click it. Okay, and let me just take a bit more space. Very short on space here. Okay. And also this printout, I don't want it anymore because we tested it was working also with a container. And I want to do set container content. And also this one is just a one-to-one between all the. Oops. Okay. Fine. So this means that when the server sends us back the answer, we will be able to. Yes, the other thing we have to do though is to display the window, because at the moment we are not displaying the window. The window by default is hidden, so it's not shown at all. We need bye bubble. If you want to follow, you can follow, so you will know when I'm live. Okay, so let's say yes, we need to display the window because the window by default is not visible. So let me remember how we were doing that. For example, when we pop up the exchange window, right? When we pop up the exchange window, where do we do this? Let me search for exchange here. Receive exchange, remove item. No. Save event. No, I think we are triggering the exchange window from the interact UI. Yes, I think this is what we are doing. From the interact UI, when we are clicking on the sell by interaction, yes, it is what we do. we take WD container, we set the window as drawn in our array, we show the window, and then we call what we have to call, right? So I think that this piece we have to do the same. This piece we have to do the same for that particular window. So if I go back here, before doing the set content, so before this one, I don't know if I have enough space. Give me a second. Let me paste it here, and then we will say, because actually W container I already have it. I don't need to go because I'm inside. I'm inside player controller. Because W container is actually on the character. Okay. It's a bit annoying. I can get the control pawn, but anyway, then I have to do, yeah, I think it's the same. I need to cast it, so it's the same as this. So this one, unfortunately, I need all this block. So I'm just trying to understand what is the best way to do this, because I don't think I have a lot of space, but it's a bit of a mess. I need to put this in between. So I need to do this, and then with my W container, I need to set my, this thing is really not needed, I think, but my target window to drawn, and then I need to call show window. Then after I do this, I can let me put it, I don't know, here. After I do this, I can call my set item contents. So I can do this. I don't know if I should transform this piece into a function. Maybe it is a bit more, understandable, but what do you think? If I should put it in a function or not? Because this one will be the same or nearly the same for this other piece. Maybe I can just reuse the container, but I can do something like this and do route node, and then this I need exactly the same way. I mean, it's a bit messy actually, but I don't know how to do it better. So this one is connected here, this one will be connected here, and this will go here, with the difference that, no, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. We just have to change this number because this 11 is actually pointing to the index. So in the case of the exchange window was 11, but now for this window exchange was 11. Why is 11, which is 9 in reality? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, 11 because it was merchant. Yeah, it's the merchant one, not the exchange. Okay, merchant 11. Okay, so the numbers are correct. So I need to use 14 and 15. Okay, 14 and 15. So I will go 14 here and 14 here and 15 and 15. Okay, so we'll show the window and then we will call our function, right? Now I think we just forgot one thing, well actually two things, but one is important, which is to set the size of the container details window, which is this thing, to set it properly in our W container. So draw locked, campus array, all of that is fine. Height limit, we have to set this. So height of this window is actually, what is it? 525. 525. 525. Okay. And the width is 425 as well, I think. 400, whatever, 420. Let's go 420. 420. Okay. Then the screen position, we don't care. The size is then 525 by 420. 525. Wait a second. Is the opposite way? Yes, it's the opposite way. So it's 420, 525. 420, 525. Okay. The class we already set and the array is fine. Okay. I think we finished the setup. We finished the setup. What we miss? What we miss is what is it? We need to display something because we are calling these two methods. I think at the moment what we can do, maybe let's just populate the item name. Okay, so let's do text item description. Let me see which variables. So the item name also needs to be a variable, and the same here, the item name has to be a variable. And for now, just to be simple, we just populate this one. Okay, so we go under graphs and we say txt get name get, and then we do set text, and we just do this. And we put into this the name, right? Which gets converted to string, whatever. Okay, so container details, we do the same. We get the item name, and we set text. Okay, and we connect it here, and we connect it here. Okay, fine. So I think we can test it. At the moment, it's not doing much visually, but we are getting all the data from the server. So if this works, we will only need then to properly populate the widget, you know, but I think we are already in good shape if this works. So let me just, I think I compiled everything. I didn't do any changes in the code. I only changed the blueprints, which is one of the good parts of Unreal, I guess. So let's just start the server normally. I don't care about launching in Visual Studio at this point. And let's see if, let me close the old client, which I don't care at the moment. So what we are expecting to get, we are expecting to get just the description of the item and the description of the container in the proper window, and we also are expecting to, yes, to get the window to pop up, you know, which is something that we didn't see yet. So why is always night, boys? Okay. So if I click on this item, right click and say view, unfortunately I didn't get my window. Okay, let's try with the other item, but I think it will be the same. Ah, now in this case it popped up. Wait a second. What is this thing? Ah, this thing is the main. Okay. This one, what is it? Here it pops up. If you see it, is here. He has no background for whatever reason, but he popped up properly. I don't see though the name being displayed. I can close the window, but on this one works as well, but I don't see the name at the top. I don't know why. I was expecting to see the name. Also, why I don't have a background, I have no idea, but it's not a big issue for me. Why I don't have name printed there? Did I miss any connection? I don't think so. I mean, the window pops up properly, right? And before we printed out item name, right? We printed out item name. So now why? Let me pick it up and put it down because I have a feeling. No. It's not showing. Why is not showing? Why? It was showing before. This may be my window pointer empty. Because we actually get an error. We get attempted to set an invalid index on array B Windows is drawn 15 on 13, but man, why 15 on 13? Why 15 on 13? It's still not sensing the two new windows basically. Window is drawn. Window is drawn, I have it like this. I think there is something still hard-coded somewhere. I think there is still something hard-coded. Let me try to search everywhere 13. Look at that. No. 13, okay. What is this? Press escape key. No. Because we are getting an error, you know, we're getting an error on, like, if one of the arrays was not properly initialized. And I don't remember if we still have some hard coding, you know, of this freaking 13. It seems not. Seems not, otherwise it would show here. Because I remember there was a place where we were creating the window. And like here, create window. I don't know if then I removed it, but there was like a number. So let me double check. Create decoration, remove the border, but it is for the single window, so it cannot be hard coded in here. Let me check who's calling this. Who's calling this is this create all windows. Create all windows is just looping on the canvas array, okay, and it's calling create window with the array index element, so it cannot be hard coded as well. Why we're getting that error? Is there another place? Maybe there is another place where we have to set things. Let me just print out the name, okay? Because I just want to be sure that. So let me just print this out, even if we are not putting into the window itself, okay? But I want to see that it appears. I want to see that it appears, okay? And or if we are really having a problem in the window handle. Okay, let me try it now. Because I need to understand if it's the window that is not created properly, which by the way doesn't have a background at all. So I don't remember if in the, for example, the exchange window, did I create a background myself, or the background is added for me? Exchange window. No, actually I have a background image here. Okay. Actually, I do have a background image. I do have it. So maybe I need to have it here as well. I can paste it like here, yes. Should go, should be the first item because it's kind of a background. Yes. Something like this. And I cannot save it because now the game is open, but and the same we do here for this one. So we do a paste and move it up here, and we just need to be sure that this is sized properly. Yeah, I don't think it is. Okay. It looks like this one is not getting initialized. I don't know. Okay, we'll see. Let me just check if at least we get the printout, right? Because I want to see if the data is coming to the client at the right time. Hello, Hammy. Yeah, the array has only 13 slots, but why, considering it's dynamically created? Why is only having 13 slots? No idea. So I have my two items here, so let me just look. Look. No, we have an issue. Even if the window pops up, we have an issue in the window itself, so it's giving an error on this array, but 15 out of 13, but Why is not created properly? Because let me see if we have any other errors at the beginning, okay? Because at the beginning is where we are creating all the windows. And I think we are printing out something. We should be printing out now. Setting position. No. I think I removed those printouts. But I remember the name was printed properly. I'm pretty sure the name was printed properly. When I had, so before calling this, right? So we had a printout here with item name, right? And it was working okay. So why after I go through this it doesn't work anymore? That's a bit weird. Show window. Let me see what this show window is doing. It's taking. What's this? Show window. Setting visibility if it's true. Get a window class for each loop, blah blah blah. And then it set the visibility of these pieces. So it's super simple and it's not touching the border in it. I don't know what is this piece which is like in the middle of nowhere, but okay. Hmm. Hmm. I don't understand why is complaining about that. I don't understand why is complaining about that. It's like if it cannot create, but then the window pops up, So the funny part is that it actually pops up. So it's complaining like the window doesn't exist, but at the end it pops up okay. Which is kind of weird. Okay, let me just relaunch it now that I added the single printf before opening the window, because the item name was actually getting sent to me properly before. We tested it, it was fine. I didn't change much after that. I just added the. Didn't change much. Okay, so click on this. I don't get the name anymore. Fuck. Why we don't get the name anymore? The problem is that on the server side we have so many printouts that we will never see what is happening, because we have all the debug of the artificial intelligence which is running. So request item detail interaction. I mean, I remember we were clicking on this and the name was there. Why it doesn't do it now? Do we have a freaking hot reload somewhere which is fucking us up? Let me check. Can compile clean, but okay, let me do a few things. Let me disable this NPC AI debug because it's very annoying. I think I can disable it easy if I go in my default thingy. Yeah, so let's change log NPC AI to error only. So we will see only the errors of all that printouts. This is one of the beauty of the system that we put in place, so that we are working properly. Hello, Shalom. Welcome to the stream. You thought it was not possible to make an MMO in Unreal? Well, there are actually at least 2 MMO made in Unreal that I know of. One is Ark, and the other one is Age of Conan. So one is this one. No. One is, oh my god. One is this one. What is the website of this thing? Ark Survival. What is the freaking website? Okay, anyway. This game, Ark Survival, which is made in Unreal, is the one with the dinosaurs. It is an MMO. I mean, it's not great in the sense of is this one, I think? Yes. I don't know why I cannot find the website. Maybe it's under Epic Games. I don't know. It's under. You have to go under Epic Games and. But anyway, Ark Survival Evolved website. I mean, it must have a website, right? Survive the Ark. Okay, maybe it's called like this. Yes, it's this one. Survive the Ark. For whatever reason, it's the one with dinosaurs and stuff. And then there is another one which is pretty new, which is Age of Conan. Age of Conan is made with Unreal. I don't know if it's this one though. Age of Conan Unchained. Age of Conan Unreal. I don't know. Anyway, it's called Conan Exile. So it's called Conan Exile. Conan Exile. Yes, it's called Conan Exile, I think. Conan Exile, this one. Yeah, this one. This one. Sorry, I don't remember the exact names, but this one is done with Unreal Engine. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty nice.
In the beginning. Now, North Update added snowy peaks and with such a large-scale world.
You can go and check it out, but all of this is done with Unreal Engine, so we should be able to reach the same complexity. Now, maybe not the same level of graphics, but due to funding, but yeah. But yeah, it's possible. It's possible. It's pretty impressive. If you look at yeah, if you look at Unreal, let's say there are a lot of. I mean, graphically, the only problem I have is the number of players. I'm really not sure if, you know, it can really sustain the number of players that we want to have. That I don't know, and I'm a bit scared that maybe, yeah, they will not be able to do it. So, like in Planeshift today, we manage with our old game, which is running. We are managing 1,500 NPC, all real time, and not all of them are moving, but let's say many of them are moving. And we have 1,500 NPCs, so let's say managed by the server at one time, and we are using like 2 GB of RAM overall, so or 3 GB of RAM overall. So I don't know. With Unreal, we are adding so much technology layers in between that I have the fear that if we go up in numbers, we may need like super machines, you know, like super machines. But let's see. Let's see. I don't want to say. I don't know. Project TL. What is Project TL? I don't know it. Project TL. TL, the lineage. It's not going to NCSoft. Is the lineage series? Okay. So they convert. So probably they went through the same process, you know. They converted lineage, which is a very old game, to Unreal Engine. So if they did it, I guess we can do. Why not? Why not? Because lineage was also a very old game with old technology. Yeah, I just want to know why that is not printed out. Please, it was working before. Why is it not working now? Come on. Come on. We compile at 2244, so should be fine. Okay, now we should not have any more all the pollution of the NPC AI in the log of the server, so it should be a bit easier to read. And we can say if we're getting a lot of errors here at the beginning though. Text else in the stats window. Okay, this is in the stats window, which we didn't touch, so it's okay. And Shalom, how did you find the channel? I'm interested to know if YouTube gave you the hint, like navigating from one place to the other, or wooden ball. Yeah, it's printed out, wooden ball. So there is a problem between this printout and the other printout. I have no idea why, but okay. Maybe our variable is not properly set. Let me check. Did we set the variable? Wait. I think I know why. I think we didn't set it properly. Let me check. So when we were creating the window, so inside of this, you found it with IRC. I mean, IRC being the Unreal Engine IRC, Unreal Engine in Freenode. What is Matrix IRC? I'm interested to know where you found this. Because I'm connected to irc.freenode.net and I'm usually providing there the link to the stream. So I'm giving input there. Look at this, it's not set. You see it? Boom. So we're missing this. That's why it was not working, I think. So we can try to close it and do it now. Unreal Engine IRC. Okay, I'm there with the same name. Well, no, with the same name. You don't know my name, so. But I'm there with the name of Talad. I guess you are not there with the name of Shalom because I don't find you as Shalom. But okay. Yes, I'm there sometimes. But I use Discord more these days. So there is also a Discord channel that I use. Which is not official Unreal, but anyways made by some people. They dedicated it to Unreal Engine. It's called Unreal Slackers. So if you go here, if you want to learn Unreal, I mean sometimes I ask for help, and they are helping me. So it's this one, Unreal Slackers, and is a Discord channel, and I'm usually there as well. Okay, so we compiled this, right? So we want to see if now we get our text. We should get it now. And also maybe we should not get the error anymore. You're looking for an indie MMO? Yeah, we actually have a game running already. So if you want just to test the game done with an older engine is actually live, and you can play it, and you can see it if you go to planeship.it. So if you go to planeship.it, there is the website, you can download it, but it's not done in a real engine yet. Okay, so it's done in an older engine, and it's all open source, so you can download all the source code and you can read it. The source code is here under source code. Is in SourceForge and is using GPL. Now for Unreal Engine, I didn't put a license yet in the beginning of my files. You see, all my files are just copyright Atomic Blue, which is the company, let's say the non-profit organization that is managing PlanShift, which is basically me, but anyway, me and two other people. And but yes, maybe we will release it as GPL as well, or no, not GPL because GPL is not compatible with Unreal, but we will release it with an open license maybe. I'm still thinking about it, but we will see. But if you are interested, you want to contribute, I can give you access to SVN, and you can help. I mean, for the people that want to help, I give SVN access. I don't care. Sometimes the client is taking more time to connect. I don't know exactly why. It's like his hand shaking with the server and just taking a bit more time. I think the server just crashed. Interesting. Why is our server crashing? Why is our server crashing, boys? Why? Uh-oh. Handle command talk. I mean, someone is trying to talk. Who's trying to talk? Some of our NPCs are trying to talk. Can you believe it? We didn't do this yet. How can they try to talk? Okay. She's trying to talk and she's crashing here. In PS character 4055. Let me check. PS character 4055. No idea. Okay, so you are on the graphical side. Yeah, we need help on graphics as well. So there are a few people here that are helping out. One is a guy named Cyborg, and another guy is named Zway. And they are sometimes connected. They are often connected. So yeah, you may find them. And if you want to help, I can give you also our Discord channel. Our Discord channel is this. There is the invite to the Discord channel. If you want, yeah, you can hang out there, and if you have time, you can help us. Why is crashing? Well, first of all, why is NPCs trying to speak? That's a very good question. And second, why is crashing while speaking? On a line which is basically just getting the controller, right? Who get controller? Because I'm trying to cast this as a player controller base. And this is an NPC. It's kind of interesting. So our say command at the moment is working only for players. But why she's trying to speak anyway? I don't understand. Speaking with who? And about what? I think she's trying to speak because we changed the behavior, and the behavior now, I mean, her brain is now having different behaviors. Okay, I don't know why. I don't want to check it now. I just want my server to go up. So let's change quickly the time of the day, because I think that is maybe connected to the time of the day. Let's move it to 7 a.m. Okay, at 7 a.m. I think there is nothing happening. Let me just apply this, and assuming I have my server down, yes, the server is down. Let's try to restart it. But it's interesting to go check then, because she's trying to execute some UI scripting, some AI scripting. They are alive. Our NPCs are really alive. I think there is some random things, like when another player is close to them, they are speaking. They are saying like hello or something. So as soon as I get into the game, maybe she sees me. Doesn't seem to be here though. We are not getting the window. Why is it not working? Why I don't get my text? Okay, I have to check why. There is something fishy going on. Okay, it's a bit late anyway. I think we did a good progress. At least we got, let's say, let's say, the ability to click on this button, which was not possible before. This button is going server side, is doing all the code to get the description of the item, the name of the item, the content, blah 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 blah, and is bringing it back to the client. Now, what we are missing is that for some reason, yeah, our window is not working as we want. So we need to check why. There is something not working in this window, but I will check it out. I think I will stop the stream here. So thanks for watching. I will stream again tomorrow. Tomorrow being Saturday, I think I have a good amount of time, so I will start the stream probably at 4 p.m. and I will stream for about 4 hours until 8 p.m. and then the same could be on Sunday. Okay, so I think that looking back at our mission, we are in the middle of this mission. I was thinking I could finish it by today, but we are close, but not really there yet because there are some problems in popping up the window and such. So, so we are still here, and we still have 3 other missions to go. Okay, but I think we made some progress, so I think it's good. With that said, I think I will wish you a good night or a good afternoon if you are in the US or wherever you are, and I will close the stream for now. See you, boys.